Hola chicos, bienvenidos. Welcome to Estructura 1.2 Números. We'll talk about numbers today from 0 to 30 and how to ask about numbers. Here are the numbers and I will read them out loud to you. You can also do this exercise in the VHL virtual text. You can click and I'll show you. You can click and you can listen to them out loud, but we'll practice it here now. I'll start with 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's repeat. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. ¡Bravo! A ver, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Great. Let's repeat this column. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Very good. Moving on into the 20s. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Let's repeat the last column. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Bravo! Excellent. If you want to review this, just slide a little backwards and repeat these first few minutes and you can practice over and over again. Let me talk about numbers real quick. You see all of these are all one word. Note these are repeated somewhat over here. Okay, so 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 are individual words. Here you add 6 to 10, 16, 16, just like in English. 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19. It's just the other way around. But word-wise, if you were to translate it, it's built up, structured, if you will, similarly to English. Okay. For 20, you will notice those are all one word as well. Okay, and here you have the same pattern. First you have the 20 and then 1, 20, 2, 23, 24, just like in English. The one thing to watch out for are the occurrences of an accent on anything with a 6. Over here, 16, 26. There's also one on 23 and 22. There is a reason why they're there, but we won't focus on that right now because it would just lead us down a very complicated path, which you don't want to tread on right now. It's way too much info, okay? Just notice, make a note that 22, 23, 16, and 26 have accents, okay? So let's talk a little bit about details. The number uno, 1, and numbers ending in uno, such as 21, 21, have more than one form. Why? because when they pop up before a masculine noun, like 21 men, right? El hombre, that would be a masculine noun. Uno shortens to un. So you would have un hombre, but instead of saying 21 hombres, you'd say 21 hombres. Why? Because it's simply easier to say. Think about it. Otherwise, you'd have 21 hombres, and you'd have to make a break in the middle of the word, and Anyway, so it's shortened to make it easier to understand. Okay? Before feminine nouns, uno changes to una. So instead of saying uno or saying una mujer, 21 mujeres, it would be 21 mujeres. It does what you would call agree with the gender of the noun. Okay, we'll talk about that another time, but just remember, if the number 1, 21, etc. is in front of a masculine noun, it's shortened. If it's in front of a feminine noun, it adds an A instead of an O. So before you get confused, uno and 21 are used when you say numbers, right? So if you go through the list and you just want to say uno, dos, tres, blah, 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 21, 22, 23, okay, there it maintains itself. It's only if it's in front of a noun, okay? Which leads us to the next point, right? So you have numbers, beautiful, but you don't go around the world just saying numbers. You want to ask about numbers. You want to ask about how many things there are, right? How many people there are in a classroom, or how many, I don't know, tacos are on that plate, right? You use cuantos to express how. Cuantos en cuantas. And here again, we run into this issue of having cuantos before masculine nouns and cuantas before feminine nouns. Okay, that has to do with a concept called agreement, where whatever is referring to something female, the question word has to reflect that, and the same for the masculine. Okay, so taco is el taco. If you remember, it's a masculine noun, el taco. So in order to ask how many tacos are there, you would say cuántos tacos hay. El taco, los tacos. Okay, it's masculine plural. ¿Cuántos tacos hay? ¿Y cuántos tacos hay? Hay 1, 2, 3. Hay 3 tacos. There are 3 tacos. Hay 3 tacos. Which leads us to the next thing. The word I means there is. Okay, so, but it can, in a question, it can also ask, is there or are there, right? If you put it in a question. So if you look at this picture over here, ¿cuántos estudiantes hay? We just talked about this, right? So this is a question. How many students are there? ¿Cuántos estudiantes hay? And you pick up this I over here and you use it again in the answer. There are. Hay 6 estudiantes en la foto. Okay, so I does double duty. It is part of the question. How many are there? Or yes, are there? And then the response as well. There are. Right? You don't think about it in English, you do the same thing. Here, it's just a question of, ¿hay chicos en la fotografía? Are there guys in the picture? This is not about how many, the question is, are there? Right? Hay 3 chicas y no hay chicos. There are 3 girls and there are no guys, just to exemplify the use of I. So here a question. ¿Cuántos países hispanohablantes hay? What is it asking? ¿Cuántos países hispanohablantes hay? How many Spanish-speaking countries are there? What do you think? If you had to guess, what would you say? Well, let's see if you're right. Hay 21 países. There are 21 countries. Hay 21 países. Note I, there are, right? There are 21 countries. Hay 21 países. 21 países. Sí. Excuse me. Hay 21 países. Tenemos España, Guinea Ecuatorial, y aquí todo esto, Cuba, República Dominicana, Puerto Rico, Nicaragua, Venezuela, Colombia, etcétera, etcétera, etcétera. Sí, hay muchos países hispanohablantes en Europa, en África y en Centroamérica y el sur de América. ¿Ok? Un poco de matemáticas, a little math. Now feel free to pause this recording, look at the question, and choose the answer. Are you ready? 1 más 3 es, this one over here is más, plus. 1 más 3 es, ¿qué? 20 menos, this is minus, 20 menos ¿qué? Son 14. ¿Y qué más 3 son 12? If this was your answer, you're good. Now let's say the numbers. 1 más 3 son 4. 20 menos 6 son 14. 9 más 3 son 12. Perfecto. A ver, ¿cuántos hay? Let's ask. Esos son perros. ¿Cuántos perros hay? And in your mind, you're thinking a number. ¿Cuántos gatos hay? ¿Cuántas jirafas hay? ¿Cuántos peces hay? ¿Cuántos cangrejos hay? ¿Y cuántas vacas hay? ¿Cuántos perros hay? 2. ¿Cuántos gatos hay? 5. ¿Cuántas jirafas hay? 3. ¿Cuántos peces hay? 3. ¿Cuántos cangrejos hay? 4. ¿Cuántas vacas hay? 1. Muy bien. Now, on your own, create the question based on the structure we just discussed. So take a break and go back and check if you're not sure and ask about how many trees there are and how many pens there are. The question to this one is, ¿cuántos árboles hay? Hay un árbol. ¿Cuántos lápices hay? Hay un lápiz. In the following exercises, please complete them, and you can find the key on the VHL website, and it gives you here information how to get there. It is the exercise Inténtalo. Number 3, ¿cuántos hay? And this one as well. Okay, take your time doing this and check with the VHL site. Additionally, I would like you to read about Hispanos en los Estados Unidos on page 32 and 33 and complete the exercise. You have the questions here and the key is online as well. And I would also like you to watch the video Eva-Maria Seifert under Los Hispanos en Montreal on the VHL website. If you have any questions, please let me know. Muchas gracias.